Hey, I'm Christine. Let me ask you, pigeon pose, do you love it or do you hate it? It's one of those yoga poses that my students either love or hate. So hopefully in this video, I will give you some tips that will have you love pigeon pose as well. It's such a wonderful release for your tension in your hips, which, let's be frank, most of us have from sitting too much during the day. So let's get started. To get into pigeon pose, start in downward facing dog by drawing your hips back and up. And then lift your right leg into three-legged dog. Shift your weight forward, draw your knee towards your right elbow. And then lower your right knee behind your right wrist and lower the outside of your front shin on a diagonal. So the foot is coming towards the long edge of the mat. And then with your back leg, extend your toes. Keep your foot parallel to the long edge of the mat and slide back so you're sitting on the front of your left thigh. You can stay here with your spine elongated and your shoulders drawn back. Or you can come down onto your forearms and maybe rest your head on a yoga block or simply let it hang. Well, you might say, okay, that's all good, but where are the 3 tips? This isn't quite working for me. Okay, let me share my 3 tips with you. Tip number 1. When you're in pigeon pose, don't attempt to put your shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. Only super hyper flexible yogis can do that. I'm a yoga teacher. I can't do that. It's virtually impossible for me to keep a proper form and keep my weight onto that front thigh if I'm attempting to keep this parallel. So forget perfection and instead put the front shin on a diagonal. And then you can slide back onto that front thigh. Tip number 2, your hips are supposed to face forward and be even. So I don't want you sitting on your right hip. Instead, I want you sitting on the thigh, the front thigh of your back leg, and actually spin the inner thigh of your back leg up towards the ceiling. There's going to be a space right underneath the buttock of your front leg. If you want, you can put a folded blanket right underneath there. This helps you to keep your hips level and achieve the posture that we're going after. If pigeon pose just doesn't feel good in your body, don't worry. There's a similar stretch that also opens up your hips, and that is pigeon pose on your back. So simply lie on your back, plant your feet about hip width apart with your knees over your ankles. Lift your right knee, turn it out to the side and place your ankle onto your front thigh. And actively draw your right knee away from you. You can stay here or you can interlace your hands behind your left thigh and draw your left thigh towards your left shoulder as you draw your right knee away from you. I hope you give these tips a try in your pigeon pose and let me know how it goes for you. If you want more tips, make sure you download my free starter guide to yoga. I put the link below into the comments. See you next time.